Hello world, we're back again. I got me a new little toy, new bell. As you can see, this is my birthday. The ladies from Honeysuckle, they gave me a party. It's beautiful. My day was going so badly, I didn't even want to get out of bed today. But now I'm glad I'm here, because it's picked up. And the ladies from Honeysuckle brought a new guest, Father Ali. Look at that. My other guests, the people I had for you, canceled, but the ladies of Honeysuckle saved me. I thank you, Jaime. I thank you, Ronit. And so they told me you have you have a line, clothing line.
I have two clothing lines.
Two clothing lines.
One called UBN Styles Apparel, which the clothes that I have on now comes from that line. And then I have one called Sankofa Dress Couture. The distinction between the two is that one, the UBN Styles is a mixture of African with European fabrics combination, and then Sankofa Dress Couture is all African fabrics. So anything that I make in that line, from hats to dresses, shirts, turbans, is made with all African fabric, authentic African fabric, because I don't use nothing that comes from the, how you call it, the fake manufacturers from London and Asia. I don't get nothing from there. All my stuff comes directly from Senegal, Ghana, and Nigeria. And there's a few people here that I know that are from those countries, and I work with them whenever I need stuff. I won't even, a store, if they go in the store and they're selling fake African fabric, I won't even purchase it from them, because you're undercutting the market. And there are African people that are doing that because they're not concerned. They just want the money right there, so I don't deal with those type of people.
So, say now with the tariffs and things like that going on, does that affect your business in any way?
Not yet, because I'm not on a national level. I'm still local, you dig? So it doesn't affect me as of yet. But once I get on that level where other designers are, then it is going to affect me, because there's certain fabrics that I won't be able to get in a large abundance because of the different blockades. But through the school, I'm presently still in Berkeley College, and through the international business course that I had to take, I learned how to get around that when the time does come. So that was the reason why I went to school, because I've been knowing how to make clothes since I was a young man-child. And after going through tribulations, going through prison and all that, I decided this is going to be the foundation of what I do, because my brand is an artistic brand, and it's going to surround more than just clothes. It's going to cover music, writing, because these are all the things that I do, even to making jewelry, crafting. So I'm striving to communicate and network with people who do the same things I do, so once I broaden my horizon, they'll be able to come in and work with us, because I'm striving to build a family community similar to what Marcus Messiah Garvey did. I'm using the same framework that he used. I'm just using it in this time.
That's beautiful. And I'd be interested in helping you any way I can, because I feel that's what we have to do. That's what we need to do. And I wish we had more people out there that instead of like saying, going and looking for a job, I'm interested in people that want to create a job, create what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I adore that. And you know, I'm helping you, like you need some help, you want to publicize, you know, you're welcome to come on the show anytime. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm about. You know, now we rise, quest of self-determination. We need people getting out there, stop going to working for the man and being the man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got ideas and things like that. Start working on it, create it.
Or the woman.
Well, you know, I don't want to sound, you know, sexist or anything. Yes, be you woman, be you male, whatever. And I hear Honeysuckle has an app now.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
We have an app. I'll show you later. It's exciting. It's through Zenio.com, and we've been talking to them for a while, and we just decided to take the leap. So it's like you can go on iTunes or Google Play and download it, and then it has like all of our past issues, and Father ELnakar has a piece in our cannabis issue, so that's on the app now too.
Okay.
Yeah, all the content moving forward, and then it's also going to be sold now on the Zinio storefront. You can,
On who?
Zinio, it's like a website. They sell magazines, digital, like the digital
Okay.
versions.
Cool. So you're just blowing up all over the place, aren't you?
We have to. Do or die, right?
That's what it's about.
If the people demand it, you know.
I hear you. Thinking back, how when we first met, I was helping someone do a show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ginger, it was Ginger New York that we
Yeah.
had done an episode of her show. We'd actually just finished, we just launched the Hers issue. And we had done a couple of events at Fashion Week with a lovely woman.
Jamie hooked up a show for us, and we did it with Jordan. Anyways, that's how we met you, because you were doing the camera work. And then I met you through Norman.
Yep, that's cool.
How do you describe exactly, like, when he does events? I know he works at the Mist. I mean, he's helped us a lot. Norman's really wonderful.
Norman Cole has a group that I'm involved in that he heads this CNS Code Network Systems. They have a YouTube channel, TV channel on YouTube, because I've done a couple of things with them since I met him. We recently did something at the Watson Hotel, which was how you call a scholarship thing for young women and man-child youths from the ages, I think, of 9 to 16. We've done release album parties for artists, which is the show that I met you at. Remember, for that girl Bubbles? Y'all came with y'all table. Y'all had the magazine.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was this magazine right here. Yeah, it was, because I went to the thing that y'all had in Lower East Side. But his
Oh, yeah, and Jamie was reading tarot cards.
Yep.
You read tarot cards.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's because it's the home issue.
And there's one
We
in
all
that issue too, yeah.
met each other at the launch party for the home issue.
That was a real good time. I had fun at that. I met a lot of people that I ordinarily wouldn't have met. Even some of the store owners I met, and some of the jewelry designers that were there. And I found a friendship with him. Every time I get a chance, man.
Oh, Justin. Yeah, we had it. It was at Ascan, was like where the launch party was. So we gave them. We traded
Yeah, I
it.
remember that store.
Yeah.
It's a nice little boutique store. Stuff that you wouldn't see in other places. It's kind of pricey, but it's good stuff. It's not no cheap stuff. Even like, I remember the girl that makes this shirts. It's a shirt with an African mask on it, but the African mask is over a European girl's face, and the shirt is painted. It's painted with spray paint, but then it's sprayed over with something. I don't know what the particular chemical was, but the shirt is washable. And the shirt cost $400. So when I saw it, I was like, hold up, I had to walk up to it and feel it. Because, I know fabrics, it's good fabric, but it also has, what you call that funny name, it's Australian crystals. Zarawaski, how do you say that name? It has crystals in it, where it would normally be diamonds that had the crystals on it. The shirt was real nice, but $400, the girl that, like I said, the designer, she's from California. She happened to be out there that day. She came with a little poodle dog, and I talked to her for a little while. I met some other people too that had stuff in the store. And
Some stuff wasn't more reasonable though. I remember, like, it looks really expensive, but you could get stuff for like $20 or $50, right?
yeah, that was the amulets they had and some of their jewelry. But like I said, they had good stuff in there, and because Justin introduced me to the guy that owned it. In fact, it's a guy and a girl that owns the store, that runs it. And he told me, I showed him some of my stuff on my phone. He said, when you're ready, he said, bring some of your stuff by. We could put it in the store. I haven't gone there yet because I've been busy on a lot of other things, but I definitely somebody I want to work with because I like his store. It's unique. That's good.
I guess I should shout out to Chris Sander, who owns Honey and the eyeglass brand.
Definitely.
Codsey. That's Lucy Vives. He did, like, I'm not sure where to put this. Anyways, he hooked up the venue and introduced us to the owner of Ascan.
It was definitely a good point. Yeah. And I got to know this young lady right here from our little tarot thing. In fact, I think we took the same train home that day.
We did, yeah.
And I was sad to see her go.
Aww.
I was like, good friend there.
We had a really nice conversation that
Yep,
day.
we definitely did.
We were all at that Harvest Fest together too, right?
Yeah, yep, word. That. And what was the last thing we did that I went to y'all had together? Was the, that thing on, I think that was the Lower East Side too, at that little Irish
yeah.
bar, pub type place.
Kelly's Bar.
Yeah, Kelly's
Yeah.
Bar, yeah.
Yeah, the educational event in April.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the girl that does the CBD oil, she was there.
Shira
Shira, yeah, that's her name.
and Dr. Hartridge was there,
Yeah.
and
I spoke to both of them. Yeah. In fact, I'm glad we're here because I wanted to get her information. I was trying to get in touch with her. The card that I had got wet, so I never got in touch with her because a member of my family is going through some medical issues and he wanted to use that oil because I was telling him about it. 'Cause
So you find that oil is good for what kind of medical issues?
that I've experienced, I know it's good for head pains, for migraines. It's good for if you got like strep throat. Let me see. And if you got coming down with a bad head cold or flu, it's good for that. I've read that it's good for other stuff, but I don't know by experience as of yet. But I know more people are starting to use it. But I found out through her that there's, and as well as a sister I met from California that sells it. I met her at the thing with the at the Hudson building, I think that was, for the Kanagata movement. I met her there.
Hudson Terrace.
Yeah, and she sells a brand that is so strong you can put it on your finger, put it right here, and whatever you got is gone.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a little bottle about this big, costs like $200. And
$200.
yeah, when she told me that, I was like, "Are you serious?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Cause where she's at in California, it's a big thing out there." So I said, "Could you let me take some?" So she put some on my finger, and my finger was numb. I was like, I said, "Oh yeah, this is good. It works."
What is that?
Yeah, it works. Yeah, but it's, like I said, it's two grades of it. One that a lot of people are buying is real poor. It's like, to use a number, it's like 100 grams, and that's nothing. It's like you drinking Kool-Aid. But then you got the kind that the sister Shira sells, which is the highest tincture that you can buy without being considered a drug. You dig? So everybody that I know that been asking me about it, I direct them towards her, because that's the best one that you could get without being, like I said, getting high, because there's an element of weed that makes you high, and then you got the one that's for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, so he wrote about an article in our last issue about CBD and the medical uses of cannabis.
Yeah, and CBD, of course, I'm just going to say this for the audience who might not know, that CBD is the non-psychoactive component in marijuana, cannabis. There's CBD and there's also THC, which is the psychoactive. So there are a lot of products that are being made only with CBD so that it's medically beneficial but won't get you high.
And one of our biggest sponsors and supporters of Honeysuckle is a manufacturer, Craig Zaffey, with your CBD oils. Yeah. He's a great guy, super sweet. He's an organic farmer. He's one of the first organic farmers.
Yeah, one of the first organic farmers in Long Island. He has many decades of horticultural and agricultural experience, and his CBD products are actually made from cannabis sativa L, or hemp. And hemp naturally has very low THC anyway, which distinguishes it from more consumerish marijuana, or, like what people would want to get high with. So anything that's made with industrial or agricultural hemp tends to be very high in CBD, very good for you. And there's a lot of, I could go into so many of the differences between the two, but basically there's a lot of great benefits to having something made with hemp. In addition to being medically beneficial, it's also better for the environment because hemp remediates the soil.
Yeah. Do they also do like clothes or rope? Because I hear hemp is very strong with that.
Yeah, they make, textiles, clothing. I mean, like build houses. There's Hempcrete. You can use it instead of concrete. I know they're using it for like airplane and auto interiors even instead of wood, and they're starting to use it for insulation and all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
There's
hemp
a lot
beer.
of uses for that.
What about people getting involved with this new thing, with like the marijuana becoming legal and everything like that? Do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, well, there's a great community in New Jersey and in New York. I think one of the biggest resources for me is CannaGather, and there's now CannaGather New Jersey, and they have like, it's a lot of it's sort of tech and industry related for kind of, I feel like, above the line people in the industry who are looking to invest or come out with a product or start their own business. But you can find them at cannagather.com, I think, and they always have their events at Galvanize, like downtown. And they have New Jersey, and I think they're opening one in DC and Florida. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
there's a lot of stuff going on. There's NUG-MD that they're trying to do, or they're distributing medical cards in New York and around the country, and like it's just a really budding industry in a bunch of different ways.
Well, now's the best time to get in if you want to invest, because it's growing.
One thing I will say specifically about Craig's stuff is, you know, to piggyback on what Father was saying, you know, some of Craig's little tinctures, I don't take cannabis usually. I mean, I like CBDs, but, you know, I can't do anything with THC. But Craig gave me some of his tincture when he noticed I was a little bit run down, and took it for...
Worked wonders?
Yeah, it was a great immunity booster. I felt totally refreshed.
But can I ask him about his
Sure.
time in prison, or what's your experience with the criminal justice system in America? I mean, talking about cannabis, because I know there's a huge social justice element where they lock up minorities and people of color.
In Philly, right next door, I mean in Jersey, right next door, you think you in Pakistan somewhere, because abandoned houses, so many buildings, and then you'll see one house in the middle of all of that. You like, how could somebody live here? And they have a police force that just recently gave them a couple of $1 million to patrol the area, and I'm like, that money could have went to all of those people who don't have homes, and to build up that community. It's a whole neighborhood that, like I said, it looks like Beirut hit it with a bomb or something. And the last time I ever seen anything like that was when I was young. So to see that in this time now, it's just blows my mind. And these police is just as bad as the police in California, coming down on poor people as if they're the real criminals, and whatever drugs that they do have in those communities, they're not bringing it there. Somebody else is bringing it, and they don't look like us. So I'm like, y'all have the power to stop the smallest things coming into this country, and you can't keep drugs from out of a neighborhood and help it build itself. So that is the negative side of weed becoming popular now. I read of one sister in Ohio who never had a record. They caught her with this much weed, which in New York is really nothing. Out there, they gave her a life sentence for that. She had 2 babies. She was had her babies on her back when she sold it to what she thought was a regular person who was undercover police, and they gave her that. There's people fighting for her to get some justice similar to what they have over here, the Innocence Project, that's fighting on her behalf. But meanwhile, she's doing hard time. A sister that never even had a parking ticket. She's locked up with a life bid for that.
Here in New York?
No, this is happening in Ohio. In New York, she wouldn't have got that
Right,
much time.
because now they decriminalize it completely.
But out there, in other states, they still persecuting Black and Latin people for what would be considered personal consumption here in New York. My experience with the justice system is definitely negative. I got all the bad parts about it, from being considered guilty from the gate, not being innocent. They say you're innocent until proven guilty. It's actually you're guilty until proven innocent. I went through the lack of bail access, giving you high bails for little cases, and even though there's a law that says that if you don't have the ability to pay your bail, they're supposed to give you a $1 bail. They don't give you that. If you rich, they'll give you a $1 bill so you can walk out the door. It's many times I could remember being in a bullpen and watching guys come in that had money, whether they was drug pushers or whatever they may have been, they had some money, and they walked out on a $1 bill, and here was people that was poor that couldn't get out. And I'm like, it's so much injustice. And then, like right now, you have a group called Justice League, run by a real strong, beautiful woman I know named Shaniqua Charles. Her and her daughter Miracle, beautiful people. And she has a company called Style by Miracle. And they are at the forefront of prison reform. They help to get the Rikers Island thing closed. At least that's what he said he gonna do. And they also help with incarcerated fathers and mothers who are locked up to see their children. So it's a lot of above the scene as well as behind the scene things that Justice League does that I support. And they also are supporting Jumaane Williams for Lieutenant Governor and Cynthia Nixon for Governor for New York. Because from what I've observed about both of their careers, I know more about Jumaane because he's been in the neighborhood and he used to, he was the, what you call social director for the community that I used to live in Fort Greene. And he was the type of, and he is the type of politician that he'll come knock on your door. They can greet you like he greet anybody else, have dinner at your house and ask you what your issues are, and he'll address them. If he can't address them directly, he'll go to people who can address them and help you out. Because there was a time about 2 years ago, I was on the borderline of his district in East Flatbush, and there was a house that was abandoned for the longest time. I was trying to get it to and open it up as a nonprofit organization for brothers and sisters that's coming home. And I met his lieutenant at a meeting that they had in, what school is that? I forget the school. Oh, Medgar Evers College. And after the question and answer session, he was talking to people individually, and I told him what I wanted to do, and I told him where it was at. And he asked me, I gave him the address. He said, well, that's on the end of our district, but we still can assist you. We wasn't able to get the building because, or the house, because the person that owned it was holding it for someone of, European status, I would say, to come and get it so that they could help gentrify the area. And that's what they eventually did, because I've been out there since. That house, it was real nice. I'm talking about it covered the corner of Linden Avenue. It had a front side, and then it had a back side that had a 3-car garage, big enough for 3 cars, but connected to that was another, the back side of the house was like another whole house, so it looked like 2 houses facing the back of each other, and it had a backyard. I mean, it was real nice. Had a fireplace on both sides, and we could have really used that. And it was 2-story, and then downstairs was another house. Like, it was made as a basement, but it could be another house. So whoever got it, they got some good property, I'll tell you that. But yeah, the criminal system in this country has never been for truth and justice. I mean, even if you look at the symbols in the courtroom, everything is against poor people, whether you black or European. But it just so happens that the majority of poor people in our society is where we living at. And they continue to put what they call, we call it legislative poverty, where they'll take a community like they recently did to a part of Bed-Stuy. They renamed Clinton Hill. And they took a part of Clinton Hill, put a political border across it, moved the Europeans and wherever else they came from into that area, and then left the poor part poor. And they built some condominiums along certain streets and some other buildings that they're still building. Meanwhile, the people that have been living there for who knows how many decades, they got literally pushed out because they couldn't pay. Couldn't pay the rents that they wanted. They couldn't live in those buildings. And then they got this thing where they have anywhere from 100 to 200 units that they say supposed to be for lower income. But that's not who are getting those apartments. I know of one person that I know that actually did time with me. I ran across him about 2-3 weeks ago. He got in one of the buildings on Atlantic Avenue, and he's the only one there. And how he got in it was through a program, through one of the homeless programs that he was in. They helped him get in there. And because of the way he dressed, he said that people in the building, they be thinking he's a rapper because he likes to wear leather and jewelry. He said, he be laughing at him. He's like, nah, I'm not a rapper. He said, I work. and they don't even know that he's being held there by under governmental restrictions. Now, the thing that's negative that I don't like about this piecing off certain buildings with a certain amount of housing for lower development is that you only get anywhere from 5 to however many years. Somebody told me it's 5 to 10, but just even that period, telling people that they could live in that apartment for that long, and then after 5 years, the rent goes up. So now if you don't have the money to pay what everybody else is paying, that means you got to leave. So after you done invested 5 years in this building, where you going to go now? And especially if you're a family person, man or woman, and you got a family, now you got to uplift your family and go somewhere else, which 9 times out of 10, they're going back to the shelter. I know I live around the corner where I'm at, there's a family shelter. Most of the people that I met in there, they came from out of buildings like that, and they're in the shelter waiting to get into a regular building, a nice building or something. So it's a lot wrong with this system, and I think that Jumani and Cynthia Nixon, they'll help change some of that. My name is Father ELnakar Allah-ade. I am the Jefe, owner of 7 Creative Soul Art, and as you see from my card here, I don't know how good you can see this, but this is part of our brand. We do interior decorating for artwork, for your household. We also make custom-made clothes with 2 styles, UBN Styles Apparel and Sankofa Dress Couture. We've been, as a business, a year now. We're independent entrepreneurs. I'm presently in college, Berkeley College, and anyone that wants to get a part of our brand, you can go on Instagram for Kumba Soul, that's Kuumba, capital SOLE. 7 Creative Soul is spelled with the Roman 7, VII. Creative is with a K, 7 Creative Soul Art. You'll see our brand, our clothes. We also do custom-made oils as well as cosmetics. You'll see that on the brand, on the site shortly. And we also have a Facebook page for 7 Creative Soul Art. Peace.
I'm Ronit Pinto, the founder and publisher of Honeysuckle Magazine. This is Jamie, our wonderful managing editor. And as we were saying, we launched our app today. So here's a photo of our friend Coolrick on the desktop of our app. So you should download it today. The link is on our website. And thanks for having us today.
Another great show.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Thank you.